Hey friend, do you often feel like you don't have enough hours in a day? At least that's how I felt a few years ago, and this is when I started reading a ton of productivity and time management books. And these are the physical ones, and I have so many on my Kindle because I was trying to find a solution to this struggle I had. I was really stressed out because I was busy running around. I wanted to do many things at the same time and fulfill many areas of my life like everybody. I wanted to exercise, spend time with my family and my loved ones, and make time to build my online business because I was still in corporate at the time, and the meetings, and it was very challenging. And right now I'm a mom, so it's even more challenging and important to know how to manage your time properly. So today I wanted to share with you what I've learned reading these books, because I noticed that it's the same principles that they come back again and again. There's a common thread between all these books, and I wanted to share the three most important tips, essential ones in regards to time management and productivity. So let's get into it. Tip number one, it's how important it is to prioritize, because we have so many things we need to do, and we have this intuition. We know that we need to make a to-do list, a brain dump. But the tendency is, once you have this to-do list, is to pick the easiest task. You cherry pick what you feel like doing. But this is a mistake, because we need to learn to prioritize and pick the most important task in this list and focus on it right now. And the thing is that to be able to pick what is your most important task and to be able to prioritize, you have to know and have a clear understanding of what your goals are. So you have to have this clarity, because once you know where you're going, the how becomes very clear. And when you look at your to-do list, what's important jumps at you, and what's not important is really obvious. We all understand the idea of prioritization, but when it's time to implement it, sometimes it's difficult. And I found that we have to have some mindset shifts happen before we're able to prioritize. I noticed in my case, I had to address the fear of missing out, because when you're afraid that if you don't jump on an opportunity or don't attend a certain meeting or do something in particular, you're gonna miss out. This is not very helpful, because sometimes saying yes to everything leads to overwhelm. So right now what I say to myself is, you prefer to have the fear of missing out than to feel overwhelmed after that. Because saying yes to go to a meeting that is not really strategic for you, it's not part of your most important task, just because maybe you're gonna learn something or you have this fear of missing out, won't leave you time for the rest of your important tasks. Another limiting belief I had was that if I work long enough and hard enough, I can do it all. But the reality is that the number of hours we have in a day is limited. We can't do everything, but we can do anything, like David Allen says in his book GTD, Getting Things Done. So we can do what is most important for us, but it's not true that we can do it all. So I used to fall in this trap that working from my to-do list, cherry picking any task that felt easy for me, and thinking in the back of my mind, oh, anyway, if I work long enough, I will do them all. But no, for sure, it was 4 p.m., 5 p.m., my level of energy drops, and I still didn't get around to do my most important tasks. Another thing I had to understand is that there's always going to be more things to do. And the solution is not to work more. For instance, if we say, okay, we have 10 highest priorities, chances are we're not going to do them all to the level we know we can. It's better to focus only on 3 and do them really well. But what really helped me to learn to let the unimportant stuff slide and be okay with it and trust that I'm safe and it's going to be fine, to have this mindset. What helped me was when I found out about the Pareto principle. It was through the book, the 80-20, I have on my Kindle, from Richard Koch. And the Pareto principle states that 20% of your actions will lead to 80% of your results. This was really, really freeing for me to learn that, because when you see everything on your to-do list, you might think that you have to do it all to be successful, but this is so not true. I really understood that the most important was to work smart and be strategic about what I wanted to do with my time, and only pick the most important task. He calls in the book the critical few. These tasks are the highest leverage. So if you can get to your goals doing 3 tasks, you don't have to do 5 tasks. It's not about perfectionism and do them all and checking all the to-do list. One last thing about prioritization is that some authors, they really talk about one thing every day, which is what is your priority. For instance, the book Make Time, it's what's your daily highlights, they call it. And the book The One Thing from Gary Keller, they call it The One Thing. So it's a different focus. These 2 books, they really want to focus on one thing. What I prefer as an approach that I learned from other authors, such as Leo Babauta from Zen Habits, is to pick your 3 most important tasks. I prefer 3 per day. I start with my first MIT, most important task, then I move to the second one, and when I finish the second one, I move to the third one. But of course, when I have 3, the 1 is the same that these authors, they refer to. It's your number 1. If in a given day you start making a to-do list of 50 things and they're not ranked, and no, this is a strategy for disaster. You just need 3 and they need to be ranked in order of importance. Now let's move to the second tip. Work on your most important task first every day. So this one is simple, super simple to share with you, but it's not easy necessarily to implement, because in the morning, once you have identified what's your priority and it's time to start working, sometimes there's this resistance that comes when you're about to do creative work or difficult tasks, and it's super tempting to be distracted and procrastinate with another task, such as answering your emails or having meetings in the morning. So this is important to free up your schedule in the morning to make sure you have time, a big block of time, a few hours ideally. The sweet spot for Gary Keller was 4 hours. For me, it was not realistic necessarily to have a block of 4 hours, but I encourage you at least 2 to 4 hours, because creativity needs space. Sometimes if you work on a big project, an hour here and an hour there, it's better than nothing, but often you need time to get into the flow and get deep and do deep work. Yes, you need to start with your most important task first in the morning. And what's important is that we all have a limited energy reserve every day. When you front load your day with what matters the most, this is when you have the most energy as well. So you match your high level of energy with the difficulty of the task. So it's perfect. It's not like if you waste this energy you have in the beginning of the day by writing a random email with a 2-page manifesto. And ironically, the same email you would answer later in the day with 2 sentences, because you allocated your energy and precious mental resources differently. What I found is that the first few hours of the day are like the rudder of your day. They set the direction. And if you start the day by accomplishing an important task and you have this big win, you're proud of yourself. You have positive energy, and it sets the momentum for the rest of the day. And it's a positive one. And the opposite is also true. And if you start with your day with low leverage tasks like answering random emails or reading articles, and the day will pass, and soon it's going to be the afternoon and you have not done what's important for you, and you're going to feel guilty and miserable, and you're going to say, okay, tomorrow I'm going to do it. And the procrastination cycle starts just like this, because in the afternoon you have less energy, you have less willpower. Another way I like to look at it is that I should always create before I consume. So create, then consume. For me, creating is creating a YouTube video like this, writing a blog post, creating a deep connection with a client during a strategy session or a coaching call, writing a LinkedIn post, etc. This is creating. Consuming means reading or viewing the product, the creation of other people, reading a blog post or watching videos or even doing a training. For me, it's consuming. Sometimes it's important to learn when you're building your business, for instance. But I always try to build first, to create things, and then learn in the later part of the day. It's better because we can be stuck in the cycle of consuming without taking action. And the third tip is to eliminate distractions and learn to focus. And this was a game changer for me when I really set rules to myself when it was time to work. So the first rule I set to myself to allow me to be focused and to eliminate distraction is to have my phone in another room whenever I wanted to do deep work. So this was part of my preparation ritual. When I knew I was about to do a few Pomodoros and sit down to work for 50 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, I would prepare myself. I would put my phone in another room. I'll get ready, I'll go to the bathroom, get a snack, get my tea, set up the environment to make sure I would not be interrupted. So same thing for my computer. I won't have any notifications, any from emails, or my email inbox would be closed. And I will only have the documents that I would need for the work opened. But these are external distractions. There's another form of distractions that are internal distractions, where when we have the urge to procrastinate and we want to do something else, and we have this thought and we want to do it, and it becomes important all of a sudden. Here, what is important is to realize that when we try to focus, it's not easy. It's hard work, and it's okay to get bored. And you have to stay in the room and get bored, and at some point you will prefer to do the work. So we have to be able to manage our emotions. And when we have this urge to procrastinate and do something else or interrupt our work, we have to be able to breathe and get centered and relax and encourage ourselves internally to do the work. And when we start doing the work, we don't multitask. It's a myth that has been proven again and again, several studies, that it diminishes productivity. It doesn't boost it. So we try to work on one project at the time, one task at a time, until we finish it, and then we move to the second one. Because when we change between tasks, it's context switching. And the studies have shown that it takes 25 minutes to get back to the same level of focus that you had on the previous task if you switch to another one. There's another tip, a bonus one I wanted to share in this video that is very important. What I learned is that productivity is more about focus management and energy management than it is about time management. So the secret of high performance is that they know how to manage their energy. And what is managing your energy? It's 3 pillars. You have, as you know it, the sleep, the food, the nutrition, and the exercise. So we all need to do these 3 things. If only one is not okay, your energy will suffer. What is super important is that we don't become more productive by getting more hours only. For instance, if you sleep less to wake up early, then you're going to be tired and you won't have the energy to do the task. Or if you don't eat good food and you eat a burger at lunch with fries, and good luck focusing in the afternoon and getting work done. You're going to feel tired and even depressed, like and anxiety, everything. The emotions are really hard to control with junk food. And exercise also is very energizing. And sometimes, if you feel tired in the afternoon, just going for a 20-minute walk can give you a lot of energy back. This is super important because if you make time for these three pillars of energy, they're gonna pay back 100 times. So even if it costs you an hour a day to eat, cook healthy meals, and sleep more, or exercise, it's gonna come back in your energy levels when you're doing the work. There's another angle about energy management is how you manage your energy in a given day. We have to be aware that we all have ups and downs of energy, that it's natural during the day, and we are designed also to work in a certain way, to work in sprint rest. So it's very good to implement a work method that is similar to that. For instance, I use the Pomodoro method where I sprint for 50 minutes, or the classical one is 25 minutes, and then I rest. Then I sprint and then I rest. I don't aim to work for the full day, 7 hours straight. No, because the energy level is not managed properly. So it's counterintuitive to think that taking breaks actually makes you more productive, but it's the case. Taking strategic breaks after really focused periods of undistracted work. And there you have it, the 3/4 time management essential tips that I learned reading all these productivity books. It's common, it's the fundamentals, all the authors are talking about them. So I guarantee that if you learn to prioritize, you start your day with the most important task, you avoid distractions and learn to focus, and you know how to manage your energy levels, you're gonna achieve head-turning amounts of productivity, and everybody's gonna wonder, like, how do you do it all? If you like this video, please consider subscribing, and if you want more time management tips, you should check out my video on how I use the Pomodoro method. It's one of my favorite time management tools. It should be linked right over there. And thank you. So see you in my next video. Bye bye.